It was really great to see so many fan arts, so many letters, so many fiction, cosplays.
The reactions were fantastic, way beyond our craziest expectations.
It was impossible to expect a huge community like this and so passionate fans, and it's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We started the project by making the game we wanted to make for ourselves, but at the end it's really making a game for the players, because that's what's important.
So welcome to the dev commentary of Life is Strange. We're really happy to be there and talk about the game. Thank you for watching.
Thanks.
I'm Raoul Barbet, one of the co-game director of the game.
And I'm Michel Cor, the other co-game director of the game.
We are two game directors working on one project, so it's really interesting to work that way.
It can be hard sometimes, but I think it's a really interesting creative process, because we can challenge each other on a lot of aspects and find out always the better solution for what's best for the game.
If only Michel or Raoul was directing the game would have been really different. They both know how to make a game. Like they're not stuck in their field of expertise. They know a lot of things about each department, and they had this direct contact with the teams.
I'm more from the audiovisual and movie scene, so I was in charge of all the cameras with the camera team. I work a lot with the sound design team also, with the music.
And myself, since I'm from an illustration background, my specialties were more on the art direction, and later, for this game, I'm starting to work way more with the narrative team and the voice recording sessions.
It was cool because they had a similar vision for the game, so we didn't have a yes from one and a no from the other.
Actually, Michel and Raoul are in the game when you think about it, because there are two game directors, so we have a contraction which is Michel. But if you put it the other way around, it's Raoul and Michel, so it's Rachel. I'm pretty sure they did it on purpose.
The idea behind the game was because both of us worked on Remember Me, and there were some sequences in this game called Memory Remixes, and one of the founders, Hervé Bonin, asked this small core team to think about a game with this kind of mechanism. Very quickly came the episodic adventure game, because we wanted really to do something like that.
There is really a lot of good ways interactive ways to tell stories.
On an episodic format, you have to make a lot of choice for episode 1, because you won't be able to change after. A lot of assets have to be there in episode 1. Yeah. So the menu is one of those assets.
It was interesting because there was a lot of variations. We did a lot of tries of what we wanted to show in this menu. The idea was really to basically show the most important locations of the game. So we can see the Blackwell Academy on the top right, we can see the lighthouse, we can see the town of Arcadia Bay. We were really trying to give a sense of location and just showing like the game world with the menu.
We really wanted to make the player feel that all areas are connected, and the menu is a great way to do that.
One of the main importance for us for the game was to have a peaceful game with this sense of you can take your time, and we wanted to reflect that from the menu, so we worked on those small wind effects and the leaves that are going around and the nice and soft music. It was just when you start the game you should feel quite at peace and comfortable. And even when the menu evolves in each episode, there is some small details that are changing. Like for the menu for episode 4, you have the beach whaled. That's this kind of details we wanted to just add with the variations of the menu. The game takes place in Oregon, in the Pacific Northwest, in the United States. When I went back there on vacations, I've seen a lot of places that really looks like what we did in the game. So I guess it was a really big job of references to be sure that everything was correct, but it's also something that's really exciting about making a game, that you have to look at everything and to reproduce reality, and with of course our own lens and stylizations, but we really wanted this to feel like being in Oregon. Sometimes people ask us if we choose to have a game in the United States for marketing, for selling the game. We knew that we were fans of like TV shows like Twin Peaks or X-Files. They have those trees and the Pacific Northwest feeling.
I think they are a great example of a small community thinking that everybody know each other and everybody is happy, but when you put something inside this community, it could be something supernatural. You discover a lot more.
And it's really a way to shift things around and to bring chaos and interesting variations on the characters. And in the end, Life is Strange is really a game and a story about the characters, about their lives. It's not a story about the sci-fi elements. The sci-fi elements are just for us. They were just here to make things interesting. Okay, so let's play the game and...
Yeah, let's play Life is Strange. So this is the very beginning of the game. I think this is one of the very difficult sequences of the beginning of the production, because this is the first time the player will see what the game looks like and will be inside the story. So we got a lot of discussion about this one and a lot of discussion about the shots, how we are going to present Max's character. The important, as this is a video game, is the player to know where he has to go and the objective of each scene. This scene is a link to the end of the game, of course, and it's also to close the loop and begin with this scene. And when you know the end of the game was something we really wanted to have, so we can see all the FX, and we've got one FX artist, very talented, Thomas. Here you can see a lot of his work, all the particles, the tornado.
We took a lot of time to work on this tornado, because when you're working on an episodic game, it's important to still hook the player from episode 1. So that's the kind of discussion we had about the rhythm, to when should we put something that has a bit more impact and that feels something that shows the player that there is something bigger. So this introduction was a bit like that. We wanted in Life is Strange the player to always know what Max is knowing and to just be with her. At this moment, Max doesn't know where she is and the player doesn't know it either. We're back to the high school, and which is one of the most important settings of the game, of course, the high school setting and the Blackwell Academy. High school is something where the player will feel comfortable because he knows it, but the transition from the cliff to there is the twist of having something really different, and that should hook the player to say, oh, it's not just a teen story, there is more to it. And then, of course, we can go much over than that and twist it and change the characters. But it was an interesting starting point creatively.
This kind of introduction is really important, because in one sequence with some shots you have to discover all the different characters, the main ones. So you will see, of course, Jefferson, Kate and Victoria.
And it was quite hard to decide between not showing too much, to not break the idea of the game, to not be too big compared to what the game would be after. There is a lot of themes of big ideas on the game, and of course photography is one of it, because photography is still a way to look back to the past. It's linked to the theme of rewind and time manipulation and nostalgia, and that's one of the reasons why Max came back to Arcadia Bay to attend this photography class.
I think for the player to be like Max back in this town when she don't know everyone, but you've got to respect the schedule. It's really, as a player, something great to discover. Also, the lighting was really important in this scene to break the cliff ambience by this sunny atmosphere and all this light coming from the windows.
And maybe we decided to have a private high school rather than just a regular high school of course for the photography course, but it was also to be able to have less students, because we wanted the story to be a bit more intimate. We didn't want it to be like this huge high school with so many students. Based on what the player is doing, you can really learn more about them and see that they're actually not just the stereotype and the archetype you would think they are. This is still a perfect example of how episodic is hard, because if you look closely at this poster, there is a mistake on it. It says that the exhibition takes place in the De Young Museum of Art, when actually it's not that. In episode 5, it's the Zeitgeist Gallery. We have a really great community, so thank you guys. And people found out this mistake, and yes, it is a mistake. It's when in episode 5 we found out that we couldn't be a museum. It was too big, so it has to be an art gallery. So we changed the name, and yes, there is a mistake like this in episode episode
Tell me
1.
how cute I looked yet.
I was about to.
Getting you
Welcome to the real world.
just cute.
We really wanted to have this feeling of being part of a whole high school. So it means a lot of people, it means bullying, it means difficulties when you're a teenager in this kind of world.
And showing the different cliques and different kind of teenager.
I think a lot of players love this introduction. The use of music here is really important. Is as Max feels insecure in this atmosphere, we wanted her to isolate, and the music is a great way of isolate yourself when you just want to be on your own. And so since the beginning of the game, we were working with licensed tracks, licensed music. We test when we are testing and prototype some scenes. We put some licensed tracks from artists we love, and Scene Matters one of them. And when we asked Jonathan Morali, who is the lead of Scene Matters, if it's possible to use his music, he's a gamer, so it was really happy to have this new experience, and for us it's just incredible to work with him. And this kind of editing is really difficult to do, because you have to choose the important moment in a song and to choose the right images.
Because our writer Jean-Luc has written many scenes built around music. The edit is based on the music. It's not the other way.
The music is really important in the game. It explains a lot about the characters, because the choice of the music, the choice of the artist means a lot. For example, Chloe won't listen to the same artist as Max. For the anecdote, for this guitar part, we asked the lead singer of Scene Matters to take his guitar and to play on top of Gonzalez's song in a clumsy way, to be sure that it would be like Max playing guitar.
Crossing